lessons or any kind of perceived notions that you had in what it meant to be successful? So you were coming here, you knew that this was supposed to be opportunity for you, right? Were there any kind of preconceived notions or lessons that maybe you learned on what that meant to be successful as you moved to this country?
Yeah, so I knew I didn't want to be poor anymore. Yeah, I knew, especially when it came to America, that was really the first time I felt poverty. And I felt it because we would go to the grocery store and my mom would pay with food stamps. And back then, food stamps was like monopoly money. So everybody knew you had food stamps. And that was really embarrassing for me as a kid. And so when my mom would check out, I would disappear. I would just like vanish because I didn't want anybody to see me. When you went to school and you were on welfare, they gave you a little card that you could eat free lunch. And most days I didn't eat lunch because I was embarrassed to go up and get my free lunch. So I would just tell people, I'm not hungry. And so I knew very well that I did not want to be poor. And so my whole vision of success in my teens and 20s was I need to make money because I never want to be poor again. And so that was it. It was like, I cannot live in wealth. I cannot live in poverty. I cannot live in welfare. I don't want my kids to do that. My college experience was nothing. I couldn't afford to live on campus. I worked a full-time job. So I went to school, work, studied, back to school. And I knew I didn't want my kids to do that. And I don't want them to be, and thank God they're not. I didn't want them to be lazy or take anything for granted, but I wanted them to live on campus. I wanted them, to go out on Friday nights and hang out with their friends. And I didn't know that. Like when I graduated college, and this is not an exaggeration, I can't tell you one person I graduated with. I have no friends from college. I just didn't have the time. When they would go out on Friday nights, I just couldn't do it because I'd have to work Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and Sunday, and I'd have to find time to study. And so that drove me. That drove me to be successful. However, the title of my book, The Buddha Who Drove a Bentley, has a lot to do with that because if you have all the money in the world, but you lose your soul along the way, it's meaningless. And I was headed that way. It was like it felt meaningless. And even though I was providing for my family financially, it just felt empty. And so that's where the book really came from. And I know there's a lot of people I know I'm not alone because we chase success, we chase money. But if you lose your soul along the way, find your deathbed, your kids don't talk to you, your grandkids don't talk to you, you don't have a few good friends. Like, what was the purpose of your life? And so the book talks about that, but I think here's a unique spin in the book. Most people think you can't be a good person and have money. Most people will quote the Bible and say, well, the root of all evil is money. Well, that's not true. It just isn't true. God wants us to be abundant. God wants us to have amazing things. But God also wants us to give back. God wants us to, to follow the rule that He set forth for us. And so the book is you don't have to, it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have both, because with money comes such great joys of giving back to charities, giving back to organizations that need money, giving to a family member that just is having a tough time of it. And so the book kind of brings you on this journey to help people figure out it's not all about money. And if you think it is, and if you're going to make money at all costs, and lose yourself and lose your soul along the way, I can guarantee you're going to regret that at some point in your life.
Well, so many people think that success, the word success, is mostly financial, money related. And I think when we think of the word success, that's where we've been attuned to getting our focus and our vision towards. But it sounds to me like you knew pretty young, or at least at least when you started to make money, that you had this vision. You didn't want to be poor. You wanted to pull away. You knew that there was opportunity here. You wanted to grow something, but you said something key just a little bit ago. You said there was something missing. What was that thing that was missing for you? And how did that really provoke your journey when you realized what was missing?
Yeah. So yes, I knew there was something missing. I couldn't pinpoint it. And nothing like nothing I did like really gave me any clarity on them. Like I knew there was more. I knew some of my decisions weren't good. I knew that, buying another watch wouldn't help, and buying another car wouldn't help. And I was like, there's got to be something more. And quite honestly, this is kind of a crazy story, but I went to the jungles of Costa Rica and I did ayahuasca. And people have different opinions on it. I can share the science behind it at some point in time. It's too long of a conversation now. But it healed me from the inside. And it showed me that life, we're all connected. Life is about love, that nothing else really matters. It shows me that there is a God. And it just healed me. It healed my soul from the inside. And then from that moment, and this happened about a year ago, I've gone, I go back every couple of months, and it's been such a healing journey for me. And like I got total clarity, like on the kind of person I needed to be, what kind of father my kids needed me to be, what kind of husband my wife needed me to be, my brother, a son, a friend, and just showing a lot of love and empathy for people. And then, during that journey, I wasn't an alcoholic, but I drank like most people. You drink Thursday night and Friday night, and you have a dinner on Tuesday night. And I stopped drinking. And it wasn't something I intended to do, but my body just realized that it was a poison for me. And then when I stopped drinking, I was talking to the spirit water is really founded by our whole family, my three daughters and my wife and myself. And we were having a dinner conversation one day, and I'm telling them that I'm no longer drinking. And my daughters were like, Dad, in New York City, there's a lot of bars opening up that don't really even serve alcohol. Like kids want to go and dance and have fun, and they don't serve alcohol. And I said, well, why don't we create a water company? Because it is the most pure thing in the world. Like we die without water. And we've been programmed through society that alcohol is no big deal. And you should have alcohol to have fun. And, you need soda because soda is no big deal. And so we've created all these drinks that are so toxic to our body. And God told me, water. Water is the source of all life. You can't live without water.